Welcome to the Elmbridge XL Sports Hub, home of Walton Hersham Football Club. Now, many of you might have heard about Walton Hersham Football Club online, on TikTok, through the news, but many of you will not know about our story. Now, 3 years ago, myself and 6 other school friends did something pretty unique. We bought a football club just age 19, becoming the world's youngest football club owners in the process. It's been a pretty wild ride since, but here's our story.
So my name's Sartaj Tucker, I'm currently 22 years old and I'm responsible for the club's media, online output, commercial activity, sponsorships, really the business side of the club.
Hi, I'm Thomas Bradbury, we're here in the club bar. I'm the Head of Club Development at Walton.
I'm Jack Newton, I'm the Chairman at Walton Hersham.
I'm Stefan, I've been involved with the club for, well, this is going on our 4th season. I'm the Accounts Manager at Walton Hersham FC. We're currently in the beautiful boardroom at the Elmbridge XL Hub and just scored a goal, so it's all looking good today.
Basically, it was, I think, I'm going to say, I've said this so many times, I said a bit of boredom at uni, just trying to think of anything else other than uni work.
Yeah, the story was crazy really. We all went to school together and we had a mutual friend, Claude, who I know you've spoken to. And he came up with the idea because he got wind that the old owners wanted to kind of move on the club.
And he got into contact with the chairman and he found out that essentially the club was going to have to fold if it wasn't moved on to another set of owners or to someone who wanted to take the club forward.
And yeah, he sort of set up a group chat, came to all of us with the idea.
So we thought of a plan to, come up with an idea of taking over the club. And yeah, it took a few months to persuade the boys.
And he put this idea together that, we could all pitch in a bit of money, 6, 7 of us, and we could pitch the idea to the chairman at the time, who was Alan Smith.
But they wanted to give its owners that had the best interest of the club at heart. This is a really historic club, goes back to 1945, massive pedigree, in the FA Cup, in the league tables around here. And we just came up with the idea together that we would take over and we'd modernise everything about the club. So the badge, the kit, and even the online brand as well, which up until that point was non-existent.
But then eventually we put a proper proposal together and yeah, we wanted to give it a crack.
We were willing to take that risk, the 7 of us that are involved, and yeah, here we are now.
I don't think there's a word strong enough to describe how cool it's been, but listen, I'll be completely honest, it hasn't been the easiest road.
There are a number of challenges that make it, I wouldn't say difficult, but it really does give you something to think about on a week-to-week basis.
The first year was, in my opinion, a bit of a mess, but it was a learning curve. We had never done this before, we were completely chucked into the deep end. And I wouldn't say we were very successful off the pitch, we were all right on the pitch, and it did help us get promoted in the 2nd season. But I think for us it was engaging the fan base, it was playing an attractive style of football, it was having the same players playing on the pitch week in, week out, so the fans could come down and they knew what to expect, they knew they could get to know the players, it just becoming that community feel.
What's happened on the pitch is something that we can probably be most proud of, but off the pitch as well, what's happened with the media and how we've grown online is also incredibly unique. I don't think there are really any clubs apart from #United that have any similar comparable followings to us, at least at a non-league level.
And that's been a great success for the club, obviously. It's probably our greatest success to date, I would say, is our presence on social media and our outreach on social media. And I think that's basically what's drawing the eyes to our story of obviously being the world's youngest football club owners.
I think the fact that we've succeeded on the pitch has fed into the content we've been able to create online, and the fact that the content creation has done really well has fed into the fact that we can attract better and more renowned players to come and play for us. So it's this kind of perpetuating cycle of we keep growing and doing better each season. That's something we want to continue for as long as possible.
The history is absolutely phenomenal. I mean, when we took over, we knew that Walton Hersham was one of the premier non-league teams in the area, and the history is a big part of that. Sir Stanley Matthews used to be the club president. I mean, he's an England football legend. And, a story I'm always really attracted to is the one in the FA Cup, 1973, 0-0 down at Stompond Lane against Brian Clough's Brighton team. And after a replay, we went to Brighton and we beat them 4-0 at their place. And I think afterwards, Brian Clough remarked that Walton Hersham, it sounds like a solicitor's. So he clearly wasn't too happy. But it's those sort of moments, that sort of pedigree, which we really want to keep alive. You know, football clubs are institutions and we want to create memories of our own.
I mean, the FA Cup is as big as it gets for any non-league team, basically. Obviously, beating Kennington last week was a massive achievement and a massive step in the right direction for the club.
I think for all non-league teams it's massive. First and foremost, the money side. It's such a benefit, it draws the crowds, the prize money involved, you know, the whole vibe around it is just, it's great for non-league football.
Look, the FA Cup's fantastic, you know, whenever it comes to the area there's such a huge buzz in the community. We always see our attendances, they go up so much for the FA Cup. Everyone wants to see the Swans go as far as possible. And to be honest, we're all dreamers, you know. In theory, the FA Cup, any team that enters into it can make it far.
To be honest, it doesn't matter who you play. It's just the tagline, the FA Cup. Especially for the players, especially the young lads in the team, could be the first time they've ever played in it. So it's great for them, and obviously all the friends and family that seem to pop up for these games. The crowds always seem bigger, a little bit more buzz around it, this kind of thing.
Hopefully now we're in the preliminary stages, we can really crack on and get as far as possible. I mean, the attendances you get and the hype around those matches are bigger than you get for normal league games. I
think we're realistic as well, you know, we're not going to make a semi-final or a final, but it's the opportunity to showcase what we can do, and we want to get as far as possible.
And that's it! And that's it! Jubilation for the Swans. Promotion secured. History books. History makers. And it's rushing onto the pitch here, back to back, for the first time in history for Walton Hersham. We are back in this.
Yeah, it's been massive. I mean, in person and online, it's been great. But, you know, at the end of the day, we've done what we wanted to do originally, and it's just a case of, you know, keep doing the basics, keep doing the right things that we want to do, and we hope that it translates to higher levels. But it's going to be hard. You always say these kinds of things, but it's true. Any cup game, as long as you're at home, you back yourself, you know. Listen, it's cup football. Anything can happen.
So if I were to give someone advice who was, say, 19, 20, who wanted to buy a football club and do something similar to what we did, I would say two things. The first is that be very aware of the risks that owning a football club carries, because football clubs from the Premier League right down to non-league level are inherently unprofitable enterprises. And the second thing I would say is that go into it with your eyes open as well, because football has changed a lot in the last few years, both on and off the pitch. And we've gone into it with a very open mindset in terms of how we can operate the club and bring it forward. And one of the things that we did is we looked at TikTok as a platform, and that's not something that we even considered when we took over the club. So really go into it with an open mindset, see what you could potentially do in terms of new ideas that could take the club forward as well. And I think that's something that's really important too.
Short term would be obviously getting promoted, winning and doing well in the FA Cup, etc. But long term, yeah, it's to restore the legacy of the club, right, and do it proud.
As you say, being there with my friends every single week, you know, watching football, I mean, it's literally everyone's dream, and we're in such a lucky position to do it. And I just wouldn't change anything. Being able to go Tuesdays and Saturdays every single week to go and watch football left, right, centre, it's perfect.
Let's hope that the Swans put on a show.